cu așa mai departe. Stateful și la un moment dat am găsit acest getX apărut. Imediat să-l vedem aici. Ok. Se și vede ceva?
Da, se vede.
Da, se vede.
Ok, am găsit acest getX, care mai corect spus este un pachet numit get. A nu se confunda cu get-it, un alt pachet, tot de state management, util și el. Ce mi-a atras atenție? După cum am scris aici pachetul cu cele mai multe like-uri de pe pubdev, și chiar are cele mai multe like-uri, l-a depășit pe provider, care are vreo 2 ani și ceva înaintea lui. Da?
Marius, scuze, trebuie să te întrerup puțin. We have English speakers in this meeting, the first meetup with an English speaker, and I want you, if you like, to switch in English in order to let everybody understand the presentation.
Okay, I will try that. Okay, so my presentation, what is written, of course, it's in Romania, almost. So, I'm talking about getX, the most liked package on the pubdev. What does getX offer? 3 principles: state management, dependency injection, route management. They are interdependent, so you can use state management without route management if you don't use it, don't need it. Also, you get some utilities, useful utilities like localization. You can change the theme. Get connect. This get connect can replace HTTP package or DO. I don't know what else is. And get page middleware, very useful. This middleware can do, when you switch from one page to another, you can put here some calls to an API or do something, middleware, very useful. Okay, this photo is from them, from the getX page. It's showing what they offer. So easy navigation, get to, pretty, it's very short. Snack bars, dialogues, bottom sheets without context. You don't need context. You can instantiate in methods, classes. Easiest state manager, okay, at least easiest, the easiest syntax. And access data from one instance into another screen easily. Yeah, this is the dependency injection. Okay, they also come with a separate package. You don't get this one in the main, the get package. It's called get storage. So it's an option to share preferences. It's a local storage, key value pair. Okay, some utility like is internationalization. Okay, easy change theme, easy validators. If you need, it's email. This is the benchmark they made. And because they made it, of course, they are on first place. Okay, less is better. So you see the RAM memory consumption. Okay, state management. Okay, so state management, some points. Okay, like it's easy to learn. It's a short syntax, okay, like you can see here, var x equals 0.obs. This obs, it's turning the variable into an observable. You don't need stateful widgets. They said that you can decouple 100% the business logic from the UI, using something called bindings. They offer a real separation between business logic and UI. They offer reactive state and non-reactive, like mechanic. And they also include dependency injection. Very useful and very simple. Okay, so they claim that you don't need stream controllers, you don't need stream builder anymore, don't need to create a get for an initial value. Okay, getX controller, it comes with a life cycle, like stateful widget. So you don't need any more stateful widgets because you got, in this getX controller, you have on init, on already, on close, on delete, on and update. These are the methods you can use to listen for the changes in your variables, like get builder. It's a mechanic state. You trigger it. It's not automatic. If you want automatic triggering, like listen for something, listen to a stream, you got getX and obx. getX, it's similar with obx. In obx, you can use more than one controller. Okay, and now let's show some code. So it's weird, I'm talking to myself, you know, I don't see anything. I'm just hearing myself.
I feel you now. I really feel you. It's strange to talk with the screen.
No, it's if somebody comes in my room and what are you doing? I'm talking. Okay, so let's. Here I have a small app, like what I have done. Let's run it. I prepare a small app like a homepage from where you can navigate to two different pages, you will see. In one, I will demonstrate the non-reactive state management, and in the other one, you will see the reactive state management with streams. Very simple, very simple. I like it very much. So,
Marius, for now, we're still seeing the
are you sharing?
presentation.
Yeah.
No.
We still see the screen with the slides.
Oh, okay. Let me do it again. Share screen. Okay. What is it now?
Is it is okay?
It's okay. So you see the emulator and also the VS Code.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is my app homepage. Okay. We have main. Nothing special, with two buttons. Okay. Here we have classic navigation with navigator.push context material page etiquette. There we go. Here I will try to demonstrate the simple state. And second page is here. Also simple. Okay, get reactive. I don't know what is the here. Okay. Good, let's start. So in pubspec.yaml, we need this package get. Let's add it. So here we are. We have a package already installed. Okay, no errors. I hope so. Okay. So let's see the navigation. They have a very simple navigation in this package. So all we have to do it's to wrap this material app like this with get. Okay, and from now on we can use their navigation. So let's comment this. This is the classic navigation, and now I'm pressed. This is their proposal of navigation. Get dot to and page, of course. Simple. It's my page. Yeah. And this is all. So in comparing the code, it's too easy. It's not so much. You don't have to write so much syntax. Okay. Let's try it. Let's go to simple. So here we are. So it's working. Let's do this one also. It's so simple. Okay. So this is working. Now let's see some state management, simple state management. All you have to do is to create a class named simple state that extends this infamous getX controller. And it's also imported. So from now on, let's see the counter app. We have to declare a variable that will be var x, and default it will be 0. So it's an int. Now we have a method like increment. And here we can increment that one. Count plus. And we have to put, for simple state management, because it's a mechanic one, we have to put update. Also, let's create a decrement. Okay. Let's update. Good. Now let's see the update, the UI. So in UI, we want to show that variable count. Here it is. To show here, we have to wrap this one, the text widget, because this is the one we are changing, and we'll recreate with get builder. This get builder, it's as you see, it's wrapping. Let me import. Okay, it's imported. Simple. I have to declare what controller I'm importing here. Not working.
Oh,
Okay,
maybe if you make it public, I don't know.
it's public by default.
It should be public by default, but sometimes.
Yeah. So this is a simple state controller. I need it there. This is the type, okay. That's not working. Import, import, import. Okay. So we have init. Here we have to initialize the controller. So we have a builder. Let's call it a controller. And now here we will get the instance controller. And we have access to our class. So we need to count. Because it's an int, let's make it to string. So we have this one. Also, this one is changed. So we have the default value 0. Now let's get the controller here to increment and decrement. So because we instantiate the controller here in get builder, all we have to do here, for example, to have access to this one, we have to find it. So on pressed here, this is the syntax get.find and the name of the controller. And remember, we have already instantiated this controller here. So we have access here. Okay, it's same page. It's a widget below that one. So let's write simple state controller. And now we have access to the methods and variables. We need to increment here. Here we are. Okay. And also here, get.find. It's finding the controller. If it's not instantiated, it will give us an error, but for sure it is. Okay, dot, we need here what? Decrement. Let's see if it's working. Should work. So, okay. you get the idea, okay? So on minus we increment and on plus we decrement. Okay. Okay, it's working correctly. So this is all we have to do. As you see, we can have many variables here or methods that call an API or whatever. And this is all. No boilerplate code, no nothing. That's why I like this package. So this is the simple one with update. It's not reactive. So if I change the count variable here, it will not update here. But let's get the reactive one. Same view. Okay. A little different. Let's create a new controller. Also extends. Extend getX controller. Good. And now we will create a stream. No string controller, no sync, no add, no nothing. Let's see. Also var count equals 0.obs. And this is your stream. This is your stream controller. So this one you can listen now. But before that, let's see the two methods. Let's go over here. We don't need this update. Okay. So because this is reactive, this means that you need to use something else that get builder. So we have get builder for simple state, mechanic update, and here this one is gonna be a stream. We have two choices. We can use getX, it's similar with get builder like syntax, or we can use obx. Before that, let's inject that controller, the reactive one, here. So we need a React controllers. So this is the dependency injection. It's simple also. It's get dot put. Also you got lazy put. Lazy put it's instantiating when you need. You don't the put versus lazy put. It's a difference. You get in the page, and the ones with put it's immediately instantiated. The other one with lazy put, when you get to the page, you don't need the variable or something. It will instantiate only when you use the variable or the controller. So you don't consume memory if you don't use it. Okay, that's important. Here we have to specify what are we. Okay. What are we? Instantiate reactive state controller. So from this moment, when we come on this page, we will have okay, whatever. So when we have this React controller instantiated, we can use it like here, but we need the counter variable. So it's easy. It's like you wrap this one with obx. And now we can use that controller. Okay, we got the count, but because the count now, it's not a variable, an int variable anymore, as you see here, it's another type, it's rx int, basically it's a stream of ints. We have to dot value, we need a value from this stream and also the string because it's an int. This one is very important. So you need the value from this stream, from this count, which is a stream. Okay, let's see. So it's working for now. And here, very simple. React controller, and we get the increment, okay. Also here, we call the decrement method. This is all. So this one, it's same. So this time, without the update, we just listen for changes in this stream count. So it's working also. So this is very simple. In my opinion, it's nice and simple. Also, what we have more, I talked about life cycles. Okay, so you want on init, or you want on init, okay, like on stateful widget. This is on init. Here you can initialize whatever you want or make some calls. This is before the UI is displayed. So we also here we got some interesting things like ever. So what is this ever? It's a worker. So listener, let's put some listener, let's see its count. So we can listen for changes in this stream of int. And every time this one changes, we can use a callback here.
So
let's see, like print. Print count. Dot value. It's working out. Okay, we don't need this one. So this is what very useful for this one. Like I said, every time this one changes, you got a callback. Let's see. I need the comments. So we have to see some print here. Okay, nothing. Okay, let's get code restart. Let's try now. Also, you can see we the app started. Okay, so because we have on main the get material controller, it's a controller. You can get the logs here. It informs you that it's being created. You can use the navigation, and when we go to the active page, getX, it's also creating an instance of reactive state controller. Yeah, here we have it. So it confirms that it's created. If we go back to home, it should delete it. Okay, it's not deleted. Why? When we go back, it's simple closing the controller. But as I see, it's not happening. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Okay, let's see the reactive with ever. With this ever. Let's see if it's working. It's working. Okay, so every time I change this variable, here I have a listener for this one, and I execute some callback. You also have all ever. So something like that. Yeah, ever. Ever, if you want to listen for many variables, like here you can have many variables also, and callbacks. Okay. You have also debounce. Debounce. So you listen for a text field controller, or you can have a button, and if you clicking that button 10,000 times a second, you don't want to make the API request or something like that, so you need the time. This one is very useful, debounce. You can use it. Also, listening for a variable or string, and also a callback defined by you. What do we have more? Debounce. Okay. And once. Yes. And this one, also useful. I never use it, but it's useful, I think. It's once. This one, what is he doing? It's listening for changes also, but it's executing this callback only once. So pretty self-explanatory, once. Okay, what else do we have? So only need. You can also define to happen when you're closing this controller, when you change the page and the controller is deleted. So you can have a text controller, for example. Text editing controller. You don't need to instantiate this one in the view. You also can have it in this class, in the getX controller, and work it here. And when you close the page, you want to make sure that this is going to be closed. So you got on close. You can hear text controller. Oh, it's not text controller. Yeah. Dispose, and you're sure that it's not going to remain open, and you will not have some memory leakage or leak. I don't know how it's spelled. What do you have also? On init, on close, on ready. Yes, on ready. This one, it's called one frame after on init. So your UI, it's already show, and then you can execute something here. Yeah. What else can you do? Very, very simple. It's like listening for a string. For example, this count, well, like I said, it's a string. You can define it like this also. If you want to be very, very explicit, you can do it like Eric's int, for example, count 1 equals what? Eric's int, okay? You have already also Eric's double, Eric's bool if you want a boolean, Eric's list if you want to use list, okay? And you can also define your object. If you have an object, it can be Rx and whatever the class name. For now, let's use this. So this one, it's same with this one. You can have an initial value here. Int initial, yes. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Oh my fucking English. So what can I say more than this? Time is ticking and I want to listen for this presentation, some questions. And this was my presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, it is strange, but we know English very well as Romanians. We know English natively, actually. Okay, guys, do we have any questions for Marius and the getting state management?
I have a question.
It seems we have Andrei.
Yes.
Cool.
This package seems to cover many aspects or many chapters of Flutter development. But all these are accessible via static methods on one object from what I saw.
Yes.
For me, using it on a project, especially on a longer term project, looks like it will inevitably cause locking. Do the package offer solutions to defend from this problem? For example, do we have access to different components from its from it, or do we have to use this object all over the project? Because
no, you can use it whatever. If you want to use only the navigation, you can use that one. If you want to use only the state management, you can use that one. If you want to use it in combination with block or provider, you can do that also. And it's open source. You can modify it. You can see all the code. It's a very written package. Yes, it's doing a lot of things, but if you think a little, it's not doing big things, you know, like navigation. It's only a wrapper. It's shorter syntax. And this reactive state management and non-reactive state, it's also using the reactive state. It's using Rx Dart streams, if you know that. And it's a wrapper around inherited widget. So they just doing this different from provider and block. You don't have so much boilerplate code, like they said, and it's very easy for a beginner, because Flutter is, in my opinion, a very, very good UI kit. It should let you develop your UI and not stress too much with state management and all that, you know? So this, for a beginner who doesn't know how Stim works and how to make it and close it and open it and all that, this is very simple. Here is a stream, count 0.obs or whatever, you know? So this is my opinion. Yes, you can use it how you want. It's not locking you. Yeah, you have to use it. No, you can mix it with block, with provider. It's good for an MVP, quick MVP.
Okay, yeah, I'm not arguing about this, but we know that Flutter evolves really fast, and a lot of things become part of the framework, and packages become redundant. And for example, navigation. Let's say we implemented in a project navigation with getix. Ideally, we want only the navigation to be abstracted under something, a navigator or something like that, so that if we need to change this later, maybe ideally we can change it without breaking all the other components.
Yeah, for sure. I will use, if I'm going to use on a new project, this one, I will use only the state management, because Flutter is on Navigator 2.0. Everybody is running from this Navigator 2.0, but maybe we'll have a 3.0 and it will be simpler. But yes, you're right.
We have one more question from Dejan. When you initialize reactive state controller and there is some new stream, will that rebuild the whole widget or just the part where it's used?
Well, just only the part where it's used. So you're wrapping a widget. Okay, so only that widget. If you are wrapping the whole page, it's going to rebuild the whole page.
I hope this answers Dejan's question. So guys, do you have any more questions for Marius?
Man, îl vreau pe engleză, să întrebe și el, că nu m-am chinuit degeaba aici în engleza mea de parcă.
Well, the Englishman asked in the chat box another question. Here. Can I combine multiple getX controller on one controller?
Yes, you can have a global controller, yeah, and instantiate it like in your home page or main, and then make it permanent. I forgot to say that you can make a controller, like global controller, instantiated in the main page, and then make it permanent. So it will not be deleted when you change the page. And then you can call that controller inside another controller. Yeah, it's basically just a class. So you can instantiate it anywhere. It depends how you want that. You want a new instance, you want the same instance, like a singleton, for example. And sure, you can do whatever you want with that. It's a class.
Cool. The same person says that it seems like some React Redux management from what he saw on the demo.
Maybe I don't use React. I don't know React, so I can't answer that.
Guys, one more question and then we'll go to Alex. Are there any questions? It seems like no. So thank you very much, Marius. It was a very interesting presentation.
Very interesting, yes. And talking to myself.
Yeah. Thank you.
And very helpful.
Yeah, I hope you will use it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, guys. Well, I will take the control from you. I will take the host from you. Okay. Oh, you disabled the presentation. So thank you again, Marius, for the presentations. We'll go to the right in time, actually. We'll go to Alex Govoreanu, which is the CEO and co-founder of Questo. He promised us an open talk interview, but he had the surprise to build the presentations. Alex, I know that we haven't noticed you that we'll have the presentation in English if we have an English language speaker with us. So feel free to decide if you want to present in Romanian or English.
The main language in Questo is English, so we have no issue in that.
Okay. So they initially wrote a React app, which is very interesting, and I will ask Alex to present what it is about. And they, as far as I know, migrated to Flutter, which is making us very, very curious about the reasons and the processes. So we have also Adriano Laru, which is the CTO of Questo. For the moment, not speaking, just watching, but we will see. Thank you for coming, guys. And Alex, you take the mic.
Awesome. Thanks for inviting me. My presentation is more customer and product based. So it has more a sense of what to build, why to build, what the product is, and so on. But as I said in the beginning, if you guys have any technical issues, feel free to ask us. And if I cannot answer them myself, Adi is here to help me. I will now share my screen. And please confirm when you can see it.
All good.
All good, awesome. So yeah, I'm Alex. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Questo, and we have created this platform for city exploration games. Hopefully, I will manage to present you some interesting information and not be just like Michael from the office and just find myself along the way speaking. I'll start off with the main idea behind Questo, or the thing that was basically the aha moment for us, which is that we spend most of our time in cities. It's where we live, where we work, and where we travel. So before COVID, for instance, there were every year more than 650 million people who traveled to the top 100 cities of this world. And at the same time, 1 in 5 people, they are living in a city with a population larger than 1 million. So every year there are millions of travelers and locals, and in total there are billions of potential customers if you go and address this challenge. Now, when people go and explore cities or spend time in their cities, they usually have 3 main options. One of them is tour guides. According to a recent study made by some travel research company, about 1 in 2 people are going on tours when they travel. The others don't. But the main insight here is not that 1 in 2 people are going on tours, but on how many tours can they actually go when they are doing a trip. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? And this doesn't matter either, because what happens is that you should look on the time of people. When you are spending 5 days in Paris, you might go on 1 tour or 2 or 3, but most of your time is self-guided anyway. You know, you're by yourself, you're exploring that city. So you go on self-guided exploration. This is actually the second option that you have when you explore. And here goes everything from a random walk around the park or following a map and so on. Then there's also a third option for city exploration. This is the on-location games category, where you have Pokemon Go, where you have Ingress, where you have geocaching, all sorts of old and new kinds of activities that allow you to explore cities in a more fun way. Now, with this in mind, city exploration in itself as a category is changing, and it's not changing from today or yesterday. It started to change a lot drastically because of technology for more than 20 years. And that is because of this, of the mobile phone. Everyone in the city, when they are walking around, they have a mobile phone in their pockets, and they are using it from going from one place to another. And for this, they just use Google, which is like the most basic form of city exploration that we have now. It's just Google Maps. But once you use Google, then what? What comes after that? Because people want more. And people who explore Google, they tend to go on self-guided exploration, but self-guided, as we have it today, is kind of broken. And we have here the likes of the audio guides, which are this collection of audio stories mapped and pinned to some places in the city. Or there are all sorts of routes apps, basically products that allow you to find a route in a city that you can follow. And there are also some who have both the route and some stories on top of them. But is this what people want? And the answer is actually no. Because based on our research, before starting and doing Questo, we discovered that people are not happy at all with these options. I mean, just think if you ever heard of anyone who has used an audio tour and said, oh, that audio tour was awesome, I want to do again. That never happened. That never happens. And that is because it's not enough. People, when they are exploring the city, they want to have an entertaining and immersive experience. And here's what I mean. The self-guided products, they focus just on giving you a list of locations on a route. But these locations, they cannot just be added randomly on a map. They have to be both popular places, hidden places, Instagrammable places. They should be worthy of visit and memorable. So you have to really choose them well. And at the same time, people, when they discover a location, they want to know and learn the story about that place. But not every text or audio record. So you have to really understand how to tell a story to people. And here comes the element of doing great storytelling. And unfortunately, what happens today with a lot of tour guides around the world, for instance, is that they understand that a good story is one in which they are telling you that a particular building was built in the year X out of brick. You know, and that's just a fact which might be of interest for an architect or historian or the owner of that building. But me as a tourist, I'm not really interested in that. I want the legend. I want the cool fact. I want, for instance, if I'm walking around Paris with my wife, I want to be told a really cool story about that place that I can remember, not just some random fact about it. So people want wow. And to make wow, you have to basically help them get an immersive experience. And you can do this if you use storytelling. So this is something used a lot, for instance, in games and or in movies, is the art of making people live a story. And for instance, you can think of this as following: rather than going around London and chasing a map with places that tell me stories about Sherlock Holmes, maybe you can live that experience by playing the character of Sherlock Holmes around London and learning about Sherlock Holmes and all the stories about him. And to do this, you have to just combine storytelling with gamification. And that is because we have now basically gamification in pretty much all the products that we use, even if we think about it or not. We have it in Facebook, we have it in Tinder, we have it in all sorts of products that we use, even offline ones. I mean, just the fact that you receive that card from Mega Image with points, that's a gamification mechanic that they are giving you in order to increase their retention and make you purchase more. And storytelling, gamification, they are just some tools that you can use in order to create a great product, a great experience. But then there are also some basics. And this is something that's very important to think of when you build a product for a customer. Just first and foremost, understand what are the basic needs that that customer wants. Because when you build something, you have to make a difference between B2C. So for instance, we are a B2C product, business to consumer. We create something for people, not for businesses. We are not a SaaS product, not a B2B product. So we really have to understand our customers, our users. What most of those who fail in B2C do is that they do B2I. So, and the I means themselves. They create a product that they think is okay and that they think solves a problem. But unfortunately, most of the times it's a problem only for them. And the product that they are building is solving only a product for them. We, at the same time, when we were in the early days of Questo, we kind of were in the B2I scene, and we thought that Questo will become something very different than what it is today, because we were trying to build it for us, not for the customer. But as soon as we went on discussing with customers, asking questions, getting feedback, and so on, we found the basics. And the basics, for instance, is that the most important thing that Questo offers is flexibility. And this was not something that we basically knew beforehand. Flexibility means the fact that people with Questo, they start an exploration and they can stop and resume the activity whenever they want. And this is massively important because they compare us, for instance, with a tour guide with whom you cannot do this. If you are with a tour guide in Rome, you paid 150 euros for 3 hours of exploration around the city. If you arrive in Piazza di Spagna and want to spend there 2 hours because you just love the place, you cannot do that. Or if you get hungry during those 3 hours of exploration and you just want to go and grab lunch, you cannot do that because you are on a schedule with someone. Or if it starts to rain, again, you cannot do that. With us, because we are technology enabled, you just pause the game and you continue whenever you want. And this is massive. Second, it's privacy. Again, by comparing ourselves with a tour guide, if you are with a tour guide, then most of the times with a large group together with that tour guide, you do not have privacy. And this is a major issue for couples or for families with kids who want intimacy. We have one of our most popular quests happens in Paris. It's in Montmartre, a very romantic neighborhood, and we tell you there the story of a love story, and you cannot become immersed into a love story if you are together with 20 other strangers from all around the world and you explore together with them. But if you are just you and with your loved one and you recite one to another a cool love story and some facts about Picasso, yeah, then you might feel something. So that's a major difference. Third, it's instant. Instant means that, especially today in this period in which we are used with instant gratifications, and whenever we want something, we can order it. You know, today you have Glovo, you have Food Panda, you have all sorts of services that allow you to have almost instant gratification, instant services, and so on. In travel, for instance, you do not have that. If you want to book a tour guide, you depend on the schedule of the tour guide. Most of the times they are booked, they have limited availability, so you cannot just say, oh, I want to start now and go and play. That's pretty much not possible. And fourth, it's affordability. The prices here are much more higher than what we offer. On average, a quest of ours costs between 10 euros to 20 euros maximum, and it allows you as a group to play together for two people around a city. Now, to make a short recap on how to create an experience for people, first you have to cover the basics, then come and use this gamification and storytelling tools. And if you do this, you basically will create a different kind of city exploration activity, which we call the city exploration game, and which is basically the product that we offer. Questo today, it's a platform for city exploration games. With us, people, they explore cities by playing the role of a character with a mission in every city where we are available. And today we are available in more than 100 cities around the world. In each city, we have multiple quests, which are being created by storytellers, local storytellers. These are people who are really gifted to writing, to researching stories and so on, and they are using our own tools in order to design their own games. So basically, we help them along the process to come up with a great theme for their quest, for their game, and then they are using all of our tools in order for them to design their own challenges, refine their stories and so on, define the characters, and then we share the revenue with them, because these creators of ours, they are making money with us. You should see them basically as Airbnb has its hosts. In the same manner, we have our own creators who are making money with us and building the content. So these city explorations that we have today, they are both available for travelers and locals, which we call our explorers, who play with us and explore cities. By creating this product, we managed to kind of solve what I said in the beginning, which is that most of people's times is self-guided anyway. So just focus on that. And that for us was really a good exercise to do and to identify as an issue in the space. And speaking a bit about today and timing, there has never been a better timing for Questo than it is today, especially because of COVID. Now, specifically in these days and in the past weeks and months, we had indeed a decrease in usage because there are lockdowns and basically people are not allowed to go out and play. But as soon as the restrictions will be over, we are more than confident that our usage will skyrocket, because people need now more than ever a product that will allow them to explore safely, explore on their own, flexibly around a city, and in a fun way, which is basically what we do. So yeah, this is us. This is what we do. We basically make the world a happy place by creating city games around the world. That was it. Now feel free to ask me questions.
Thank you, Alex. Very nice presentations. So guys,
Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Alex. I have one question. You said that initially in your mind you had another product, another vision. What was that vision, and how did you found out that it is wrong?
TB, in the early days of Questo, what we knew was that we have to come up with a service, a product that will help people explore cities. And the first prototype of Questo was more gamified. We wanted to build a very complex game. This is how we saw things. We got our inspiration from games, and because of this, our challenges, for instance, from doing the quest, they were really complex, really hard. So, and we thought, because I was telling you, we were building games for us, not for our users. We, as the game builders, we felt really happy designing those very hard challenges. And in our mind, it was like, oh, but when people are going to solve this, they will feel so smart. The downside is that people, when they go out and play a quest, they want to feel smart and happy, not stupid and frustrated. So this is very important. How you learn this, you just go in the city, you follow the users. By the nature of our product, we knew exactly when people were at the starting point, and me and my co-founder, we were just going there at the starting point. We never told our users at the starting point that we are from Questo. We just observed them, and then we observed them around the quest, and then at the end we would stop them and we say, okay, I'm Alex from Questo, how was the experience for you, blah blah. And this is how we learned, for instance, that people were really frustrated because the challenges were too hard. I mean, they didn't want to pay some money in order for me to give them an IQ test in the city. They paid some money in order to have fun in the city, you know? So it wasn't about solving complex challenges. It was about spending good time with their friends, with their kids, with their wife. So this was a really important time. Luckily for us, we discovered this in the early days, because we now know, or at least our hypothesis is that most of the dead projects before us, because Questo is not that innovative. So when I first had the idea and I went to Claudio, I said, look, I think I have this idea, blah, blah. Our immediate thought was, it's too simple. I'm more than sure that there are people who are doing this. And when we started researching, we discovered hundreds of dead projects, quite similar with us. You know, this project that would say, I want to gamify the city exploration activity by creating all sorts of treasure hunts or scavenger hunts or some sort of city games. Most of them failed because, like us, most of them were just focused on creating a game, not an experience for people. And you cannot do that. If you, TB, will allocate 2 hours of your time to spend in Bucharest exploring it, you don't want me to frustrate you. You just want to go in Bucharest and explore it and discover some places and some stories. If you want to be frustrated, you will then just play another game, but not Questo. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, Alex, as far as I know, in the app, you can choose quests by difficulty. I'm wrong?
No, you are wrong. Yeah, we don't offer that yet, but it might be something that we will add in the future.
It is probably something that I was thinking about when I saw
probably.
the app. So.
many people think about this, but we'll see how we will develop it.
Cool. Guys, another question? I have one. So how you guys make sure that the quests that are created, the story behind the quests and the safety around the quest is proved?
Test. So when we first build a quest, the creator uses our tools, he designs it, our editors give him feedback and so on, but our editors, they work remotely from a different city than the city in which our creator is based. So they cannot really tell if the locations are in shape or not, if there are construction works around or stuff like this, which might affect the quest. And because of this, as soon as the quest is ready, we call it the complete draft. When it's in complete draft, we then set it to testing mode, and then we send real people to go and test it. So the quest is just in testing mode. It's not like we don't charge money for it yet or something like this. It's just in a public test mode, and we test it with some people, we gather feedback, and as soon as all the revisions have been made and we are clear that that quest is good to go, we then start publishing it live.
Yeah, this is really smart.
It allows us to move really fast.
Yeah, and I think, let me know if I'm wrong with this, but you now have an overview about the app, but actually the sky is the limit in the scenarios of the app. So how do you anticipate the volume of the stories in the next, I don't know, 2 years? I think this will be so big and that you can estimate actually.
It's unlimited. It's literally unlimited. The only limit is on the tools that we will design in the product so that our users can build quests as easy as possible. We basically set the limit, because just a city as New York, for instance, you can build there, and I don't exaggerate, thousands of quests just in one city. Because how we see quests, they are not just about one kind of category, one kind of theme. You can have quests built about movies, and New York is probably the city where most movies have been filmed in history. So just creating quests about every movie in New York, or at least about the most popular ones, will help you create hundreds. Then you can build quests about music. Then you can build quests about education, quests about science. One of my favorite quests is one that I've designed personally, but it was written then by a writer and refined. It's in Zurich in Switzerland, and it's a quest about physics and the general theory of relativity, in which you go and explore Zurich somewhere in the 1910s together with Einstein, and you do this role play. And along the road, Einstein takes you around Zurich and does a lot of thought experiments with you. And these thought experiments were something that Einstein was always doing in order to come up with ideas and his theories. Basically, all the puzzles that helped him come up with his theories came after some thought experiments that he did. Now he's doing this imaginary thought experiments with you around Zurich, and at the end, our users, or at least some of them, they remain with the impression that even they could have come up with the general theory of relativity. And that's the magic of what we do. We help people put themselves in the shoes of someone, be it real or invented, and explore cities differently. So with this, sky's the limit.
And this is really, really great. So you said that I'm going to the administrative part of the business. You said that when you started, when you guys originally had the idea, you saw on the internet thousands of proposals like this, not the same, but proving that escape room experience in a city. Mm-hmm. But what was the process of I don't know, and actually obtaining and creating actually the minimum viable product, and then then the hot question, what made you switch from React to Flutter? So how did you guys start to put the idea into the process of building a business around it?
I prepared some slides here for this. Do you
Yes.
still see my screen? Okay.
Yeah.
These are the dead projects that we discovered. Now, once we discovered the dead projects, we went on doing a very small test. And this is how it looked like. We didn't develop an app or anything. Me and my co-founder, we had no technical experience. So we first created the quest in Word, and then we sent it via Facebook Messenger. Because we just wanted to test if it is viable to guide someone around the city and for that person to think that it's fun. That's all that we did. And we did this one with the other. So I did a quest for Claudio, Claudio did a quest for myself. Then we did this with our girlfriends at the time. Then we did it with few of our friends. And only once we had this, we said, okay, now I think it might be good. You know, we kind of have a recipe here. Let's do a prototype. So then we did a very basic, it was a web app, basically, very, very like a website more looking, but it followed the wireframes that we previously designed in PowerPoint, because we had no fucking previous experience in designing mobile apps, nothing at all. And with this, we managed to learn a lot. I remember this prototype being tested in the first, if I don't make a mistake here, 3 months by more than 1,000 people. And after you do that, you collect a lot of feedback. And here's the magic with the feedback. Feedback comes in many forms. At the beginning, it was me giving feedback to Claudio, Claudio giving feedback to myself, but that's very biased. You know, because we already had some ideas, we already, you know, you are under the confirmation bias theory, in a sense, in which you are going to validate your own hypothesis, because that's what you are chasing. And that's not really friendly. The second kind of feedback that we got was from our friends. And that's not good at all, because your friends are always very cautious about how to give you friends. They are more positive than they should be and want to hurt you. Then it came the third level of feedback when we launched the product to strangers. And this was mainly due to our friends recommending the product to their friends and stuff like this. And then we started getting some real feedback. But then what happened was that at that time, because we were still very early, all of our quests were free to play. And it's really a different animal to have a product which is free to play versus one which is paid. And when we did the shift from free to paid, immediately the feedback that we got from our users changed completely. All of our free users, they were telling us, add augmented reality, add all sorts of fancy features. I don't know, things that they were seeing in games and that they were expecting to find in games or in other mobile apps. Whereas all the other paid users, they just said, I just want more quests. I don't care about how the app looks like. I just paid for your quest. I just want to pay for more. That's it. And for us at that time, it was like a happy event to happen. We just said, well, we found our users. I mean, if we already know that there are people who are willing to pay for this, then we just have to scale this and find more like them and build products for them. And then the others will come. So this is how we managed to also build our business model, identify that there is a need, identify the ones who have the urgency and the need to pay. And the free ones, they are still potentially our users, and we have our own strategy to go after them, but it's very important to first identify the key users. You know, Paul Graham from Y Combinator has a very good saying about this. He says that to know if you have reached product market fit, your product, you should think about this. If your product disappears tomorrow, will there be one person who will suffer and will say, oh fuck, but I really love that, I was going to use it tomorrow and the day after and so on? Well, if you have that one person who will suffer because your product disappears, then you have product market fit, because then you just have to find more people like that guy or girl in order for you to scale and become a relevant business. And that's what basically was also in our mind when we saw our first paid users, people who were happy already with what we have, and we said, okay, let's just go and find more people like this. And now going to Flutter and React. This was basically, so the prototype that I was showing to you, that was not even made in React. It was made in a different technology, which I don't even remember now yet. But it was basically a web app. Then we did a React version. Adi was not in the team yet, and when Adi came, his vision was that we have to build fast. We have to have a scalable tech stack, and to also build a product which not just looks good but also works good. And that's why he chose Flutter. And if he wants to add more details, Adi, feel free to add.
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys for inviting us to talk about our app. I'm really happy to know that there is actually a community of Flutter developers here in Romania. So I'm not the only crazy guy in Romania that is using Flutter. So that's nice to to know that. Now I wanna talk about. So Alex actually mentioned something about how the app was created, and I want to mention something here just to have the whole context. So I joined Questo in somewhere at the end of 2018, I think. Mm-hmm. And in that time, Alex and Claudio was working with some outsourcing company to build the app. The app was built in React Native, and I come from a React background, so I love React. I love declarative UI. So it was easy for me to pick up React and use React Native and build the app as we move on. The problem with React Native, as I saw it afterwards, was that the dev tools were not that good. You had to use the browser in order to debug the app. So that was a nightmare for me. Another thing was that, for example, I couldn't make the app look exactly the same on both platforms, on Android and on iOS. There were a couple of issues with the framework itself. Like, I remember having an issue. The border was looking okay on iOS, but it wasn't too slim on the Android side. And the whole feeling for me was that React Native was good enough on the iOS side, but on the Android side was lacking, and it was like falling behind. And other than that, so I just noted a few things here. The app size was like really big. I remember that when we switched from React Native to Flutter, we had 130 something megabytes, the app size, and now we have like 13. So the size is like 10 times smaller. Another thing that actually made me switch to Flutter was the build system. So whenever I had to build the app in React Native, it was a nightmare. Like everything was falling apart. We had a lot of build issues, and I don't know if that's in part of React Native, but more because of the libraries that we've used. So in React world, you have a lot of libraries that are really good for the web, but using those same libraries for the native part is how should I put it nicely? It's not that. It's not a streamlined process, so you have to be really careful about that. And other than that, a lot of libraries were obsolete. Like, for example, when I started using React Native, the navigator library, I remember it was already changing, like from the ground up. They were planning to change the navigation library all over again, like different API altogether. And that was crazy for me because in Flutter, for example, I like the fact that I have like a stable component library for me, not ready to be used. I have the navigator, which is like a really important, is like one of the most important parts of a mobile app library. And what else? Yeah, in React Native, I think I don't remember if they changed it, but there was like a bridge between the front end code, which is in JavaScript, and the native code. So you had to communicate with the native part through a bridge, and that was like really slow. In Flutter, everything is direct. So for example, the communication is taking part through the plugin system, which is communicating at the C level. So it's really quick. And what else? So it's more or less, or should I say, really close to native performance in this regard. What else? Yeah. So to close the whole thing, for me, it was like a really good choice to move to Flutter because I was the only one that was building the app. So I had to move like really quick. And React Native wasn't the tool for me. I was struggling to move as quick as I wanted to, or as quick as I'm doing right now with Flutter. So I think I've found out about Flutter like 6 months into the process of building the new version of Questo in React Native, and then I don't know, after a few months, we had the chance to build the app all together over again, and we just went with Flutter and never looked back. And this was happening. I was just looking through the GitHub issues. It was happened. So we actually switched to Flutter in November 2019. So 1 year after I've joined the company. So yeah, that's the story of us switching from React Native to Flutter, basically.
Adi, from from your point of view, how deep should you learn Flutter in order to be able as a developer to actually produce good apps? Or another question with this, what's your way to find the best practices to develop in Flutter?
Yeah, I think answering the first question, it takes time to build awesome products. We shouldn't talk about apps or web apps separately. So you can build simple demos like the one that I saw, really quick, but if you want to build a really great product that works and is stable and without issues down the line, like you don't have to change everything all over again in 3 months or so, you need to go a little bit deeper than just learning the API of Flutter. You know, I think Marius said you need to have like a really good state. Should I say component, and you need to be really consistent. You have to have a lot of experience in order to build a framework, or more, should I say, like a infrastructure and an architecture for the app. So it's not this part is not easy. What Flutter does for us is making the possibility to give us the possibility to build a UI really easy, and that's the nicest part. And the API is really small. It's sort of the same as in React. So if you are coming from the web part using React, it's really easy for you to pick up Flutter and do a lot of awesome stuff like right away. But building great apps, you should know a lot of stuff in order to do that, not only Flutter. And this is something that it's available for Android, for iOS, and for the web. So it's not, I don't know, it's not something specific to Flutter. Yeah.
Okay, I can ask you, tell me about the backend. It's a custom backend, it's a service.
Yeah, so the backend was done in, what was the backend done before Ruby? Alex, do you remember?
In Node.js.
In Node.js? No, it was not in Node.js. But anyway, so when I joined, we also had the backend done. Oh, actually, yeah, it was done in Ruby on Rails. So it was done in Ruby on Rails. Then we had to hire a contractor to continue working on that. And after a while, we hired a second developer that is now working on the API full time and is done in Node.js with graphical API. So I don't know if you know the difference between RESTful API and graphical.
Graph.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, and Maps API, do you use Google? I think they are expensive.
Yeah, we are using Google. We are still thinking about ways to use Maps consistently and doing it the right way, because we switched to offline play like a time ago, and we had a choice. Should we invest time making the app working in offline mode with Google Maps, or should we pick like a I don't know, a quicker way? And we just so we found a way to play offline just by using Google Maps to generate maps, map images, you know. So when you are playing one of our quests and you need a map, we're gonna show you basically an image of a map that is based on what was generated by Google Maps, basically. But now we actually redoing the whole UI for the app, and we are thinking of ways of integrating Google Maps way better than we did. Because Alex told you at the beginning of the talk, we made a lot of mistakes, and I don't know if you see them when you are looking at the app, but behind the scenes, arriving here, it was like a really bumpy ride, so to speak. So yeah, we had to. We had a lot of trade-offs basically. So we had to.
Okay, and final question. Tell me about what state management solution did you use? Provider or block or what?
Yeah,
because they appeared. The time.
Yeah, or
no, I don't hate it
easily. It's actually provider. So we are using provider. For me, I went with the most stable state management solution, and provider at that time was the most stable one. I really liked what they were doing at that time, but I wasn't that much into that boilerplate API. Now they actually released a new version with much slimmer API, which is based on what they call qubit. So that API, I like it more than the block API, and we might switch to that. I don't know, but provider or block, that's the only two options that we've tried, and I like it. I like the qubit API, and I like the provider API. It's simpler. It does the job. If you come to it, it doesn't really change much. That's the number one issue with the getX package, for example. It forces you to build the app their own way. Like they change a lot of things, you know. But provider, they just like you get this builder widget, and you get this consumer widget, and that's it. After that, just state, and you can just change UI based on that state. And it's simple. It can be changed rather easily. If I want to switch to, for example, qubit, I can just change it without any issues, because qubit works the same way. The only part that changes is the state part. So you will change the notifier part with the I don't know, qubit part, and everything will stay the same basically. Because the block provider, the block package is based on provider, so they are using the same API for changing widgets basically. So you're gonna get a builder and a consumer, sort of the same thing.
And
yeah.
Riverpod, because Riverpod is after.
Yeah, Riverpod. I hadn't had much time to look into it. I heard a lot of a lot of good stuff about it, but never tried. Yeah.
So block it will be free.
Yeah,
it's nicer.
I don't know. I tend to stick to what works in this world, to be honest, because things are changing a lot, and they are changing really fast, and you might end up with an absolute library down the road. And depending on how much that library is changing the whole architecture of your app, that will cost you a lot down the road, you know. So for me, using only one library that does only one thing, it works best for me. So that's my approach of building stuff. So think about how tools are done think about how Unix is doing things with their libraries, or how do you call those command tools basically. library that does only one thing, and you just need to combine them together, and everything will work eventually. But that's the tricky part, the combination between all of this. And this is the part that you need to know, like really need to know, and it involves like architecture and all those other stuff that is not that much related to Flutter, but it's more related to development in general, basically.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adi. Guys, we are on the Q&A time, so I will invite all to ask more questions. We still have 8 minutes to answer, but I invite our speakers to feel free to decide if they want to continue after this reserved time or not. I will ask a final question because we started with this question from my side. Alex said that I was thinking that you haven't got any challenges during the process, but I want you guys to tell me what was the biggest challenge that you had on the process of building and launching the app and actually maintaining the app.
From what perspective? Technical, product, business, because there are different challenges.
I don't know, the biggest that the companies had.
Understaffed.
I would call it the team problem.
Yeah.
You know, building the team, that's always the hardest.
Yeah, we are trying to build a team more responsible. Like we need guys to help us out with building the product, but we are not searching for them like really desperately, you know. We are trying to find the best guys that can work with us together at this product. It's a really awesome product, and we need to build a team behind it, not like a bunch of guys that just work together. And I'm sorry for stealing your time, but what I'm trying to say is that, for example, so the number one issue for me was that I had to build this all by myself. Like even now, if you look at the app, you're gonna see my design. So actually, I had to wear like many hats. I had to build the design myself. I had to build the app myself. I had to build the website myself, and so on and so on. So it was really hard for me to stay on top of things and move as quickly as I wanted. And Flutter, for example, it was just a tool for the job. It allowed me to move faster than React Native. I don't know how React Native is right now. My hope is that is doing better than it used to be, do. But right now, for me, Flutter was the perfect tool to move faster, because I had to jump on the website, build some things there, and then I had to jump back and build the app, for example. So I had to move really quick. And now that we are growing, we need more people like me, basically. I don't know. So understaffed, I would say. We need good people.
Yeah. Well, it's a very nice example of building a small team and creating something so inspiring. You actually started from the smallest milestones ever, as I saw with the document and the scenarios, just creating the scenarios. The paradigm in the developer life is like you want to build firstly the app and then to follow the process of building a business model, which is the wrong way, as we saw on all the talks. But it from my point of view to define all those small milestones to test every step and then decide if you're going and you should be totally emotionally detached when you make this in order to not alterate the process of building the app and just being objective of what the client wants or needs. Yeah.
And never be happy. This I think is something that should be common for everyone who's building a product. If I'm not mistaken, Michael Seibel from YC, who is the founder of Twitch, said this, that if you launch a product and are happy with how it looks, then you launched too late. And this is, I mean, if by this rule, we never launch too late because we are never happy with how it looks, but we just know that we have to launch and learn with every launch, because yeah, you have to also launch fast in order to get fast feedback, get a lot of feedback, improve fast, and basically move fast and break things. Not just wait to build a perfect product, because there is no perfect product. There never will be. You will always have a lot to work on. And yeah.
And I just want to add from a developer point of view, we as developers kind of get lost down the road. Like we are focusing too much on the tech side and not that much on the product side. So I think that I'm not alone when I say that I try to build a lot of side projects, and I failed every time because I got lost along the way into, I don't know, I was focused more on using the latest tech, using the latest library. That was I was having the impression that that will help me build the product really quick. And after a while, I got bored and stopped. So the bottom line is we need to focus more on the product side. Like you need to focus more on what we are actually building, and we need to make sure that that product will be used, you know. So the quicker it's in the client hands, the better, basically.
I'm very sorry, but I have to go on another call in 1 minute. I just want to add one thing here. I was taught this thing 2 years ago by someone in the US. He was asking me what I think are the most important things for the success of a product or of a company, and he mentioned 4 different things. 1, the product. 2, the business model. 3, the product business model, the timing, and the team. And I somehow got the correct answer, which is the timing. The timing is the most important one. There are many examples of great teams who do great products, have a great business model, but the timing is just not there. I mean, they will never, it's not a good time for it for many reasons. You know, for instance, if you would have launched Questo in 2010, it wouldn't have kicked off, because people, they weren't used to use smartphones that much in order to explore. Internet wasn't that accessible. Phones weren't that smooth, and so on. So that matters the most. And the other 3, you can build a great company if you lack on some of those. You know, I mean, if you have a very good team, but with not such a good product, but with a kick-ass business model, you will make a lot of money. And all sorts of other combinations there. But timing, that's something that you cannot fake. So when you choose your battles, also think about timing a lot, because it matters a lot. And now I have to go out on another call. Thanks a lot for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Too much. Adi, feel free to stay here and discuss with the guys. Bye, guys. It was a pleasure.
Bye, thanks.
Yeah, it was very, very nice to hear the Questo. I see that is pronouncing story. So Adi, we are finished with the presentation, but if you like to answer us some more questions, technical questions that Tiberiu helped me to prepare, it will be a very nice thing for us. So you decide.
Yeah, I will try. I just need to remember because I basically came unprepared, just helping Alex with whatever I can, but yeah, go ahead.
I have one question. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm on the street. Maybe it's a little noise. Sorry for that.
No worries.
So where do you host this application, the backend, and not only the backend?
Oh.
Public cloud?
Yeah. So we switched to the AWS some time ago, and we are there right now. The API is hosted on Beanstalk, and we have like the default architecture with one load balancer and a bunch of servers that I think we can scale up to 8 right now because we don't want to pay that much money, and the API is like it doesn't have that much load because all the plays are done offline, so that's okay for us. But everything is on the AWS, everything, like from caching, from the domains and everything. Actually, we send our emails with SendGrid because we want to use the templating to build better like emails, but we just switched to that. It's not in production just yet.
What about the database? Do you have only one instance or multiple instances?
So we are using MongoDB as our database, and it's a managed system as well. It's based on MongoDB Atlas, and the whole cluster of the whole clusters are hosted on AWS. So yeah. It's we kind of switched rather recently to MongoDB. We used to use MySQL, and before having the first round of investment, we were paying like a lot of money for only one instance of MySQL, so we had to do something, and we switched to MongoDB. And my new colleague is he's the one that is doing the API and the integration with the database, and he's like a MongoDB freak, so it works great for us to use that now, basically. I don't have a number of how many database instances we use, but this is like a managed service. The Atlas service is taking care of that, basically. If the load is bigger, they will do something about it. We don't care. We just pay, basically. But it's way cheaper than using, for example, DocumentDB. And I think that's how it's called on AWS, or an instance of MySQL on AWS.
And who's the DevOps talent on your team?
I had to do that also. And Yeah. I had to learn that my whole vacation, like last winter vacation, I had to learn that, and we switched to it completely this year. Yeah. We had, should I say, like really basic setup before that. Like I think it was done by the other developer that was a contractor, and it was done. So the way he was deploying stuff was through the Git. He was just SSH into a server on AWS, and he will just call git pull and get the new data, and then touch like a file in order for the Ruby on Rails to be redeployed. And now everything is automatically done. Like we are using Beanstalk, and based on whatever we commit something on master, it will be deployed on our servers. And we have like a strategy of doing that without any downtime, everything. So everything is automatically done right now. And for the website part, we are using, I don't know how to pronounce that in English, Vercel. I don't know if you know it, but mainly is like a managed solution for Next.js websites, basically. So our website is statically built. So everything that you see there is statically built at build time, every page of it, or most of the pages, because you can also build pages at runtime if you want. But they will be built statically, like you will have a file on your file system, and that will be served directly to the client. Like, and this way is like really quick. And Vercel is based. You can, I think, they also use AWS under the hood. So yeah, I can talk.
Nice.
More about that.
This is a really nice tool for landing pages. Guys, let's take one more question, and then to go to the prize moment in order to deliver or give the invitations for Dev Talks, and then we can continue the discussion. Okay? So one more question for Adi. Okay, I have the last question. So, Adi, how do you like the Flutter community in Romania? Because we mostly.
To be honest, I'm really glad that there's one in Romania. You know, I'm coming from the front-end world. So I'm used to big communities. I actually organized the front-end Bucharest community, and we were like 3,000 people on Facebook. That was actually before deleting my account, so I have no idea what's happening right now with that community. But other communities have emerged in the meantime. So you also have like Bucharest.js community, and they are kind of the same numbers. So I'm really glad that there is a Flutter community, and I think it will grow because I find Flutter to be really attractive for a lot of companies, and it will get better down the road, I think. And the approach that Flutter makes is different than React Native in some way. So everything is built entirely by the Skia engine, and this way everything just looks the same without any bridge or whatever. And I think this will attract a lot of developers. So yeah, I'm glad you actually started a community based on Flutter. Yeah.
Yeah, we see this big incoming big. Thank you, Adi. Tiberio, take the lead and announce the prizes. We have 10 invitations, but we announced just in today's session, we announced 3 winners, and then we'll give the other 7 invitations in a pool in the messaging section of the group. So Tiberio, take the lead.
Okay, so I choose an online tool to help me to give these free invitations. I will share the screen. One minute, because I have to give some rights.
Do you accept this cookie?
Okay. Now you see my screen, okay?
Yeah, and also the error on your screen.
Okay, so you see this wheel with all the names that was in this meeting. We have 15 members. I think some of them left, but there is no worry. So I will spin this 3 times. So first is Claudiu Acuță.
Yay! Correct. You're the only one.
Congrats. The next one. Oh, Alex, it's you.
No, I will pass out. So
okay.
I think
I will spin it once more. And it's Web Mormureanu.
Yay!
We
And once
see
again,
with a little bit of delay, and we thought it was for you.
no.
And
Emanuela.
the only girl that we had in this meetup. Emanuela, are you with us? Yeah, probably. We are. Is away from keyboard. And Tiberio, hello. So you won an invitation to DevTalks.
I wanted to ask you, it's a physical event or online?
No, it's their second online event.
Oh,
and
perfect.
It is
perfect.
very
because
big.
I will leave the country in a month, and that would be a problem. But I really want to participate if it's online.
Yeah, it's a really nice event. I know the guys, they had a lot of editions in Romania physically, and now the second online, and I really recommend it.
That's amazing. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I will stop the recording right now. But firstly, I will stop the recording after saying the outro section. So first of all, thank you for our speakers. Thank you, Marius. Thank you, Adi. Thank you, Alex, that is gone now. This meetup is possible due to sponsorship of 2 wonderful sponsors, Crowd Favorite and Kiwi Romania. And thank you for their support. We have the Discord channel into the description of the meetup, and I invite you all to join the Discord channel in order, I don't know, to talk for a coffee and make the community bigger. By, I don't know, creating big ideas. Thank you, Tiberio, and thank you, Marius, for the wonderful help to create this. And it was a really nice edition and the first one that we cooperate. And I hope for infinite number of editions. Sorry for hitting the microphone. Okay, and now because we stepped, we are higher than the 100 people person, I will stop the recording.